So I'm curious, you haven't directed a feature since Oz the Great and Powerful. I'm curious, how close did you come to directing something else before this and after Oz?
I didn't come close to direct anything after that. I needed time away after that to get hungry again, learn about filmmaking, take in some lessons, do some gardening.
Avocados.
Absolutely, among other things, yeah.
Exactly. You have the ability with this film there's a lot more modern VFX. The tools you had to make this film are so different than the Spider-Man movies you made. What technology did you have access to on this film that you wish you had access to when you were making the Spider-Man films?
We had to make a lot of the tools to make the tools back in the day of Spider-Man. John Dykstra, in fact, said to me, Sam, the tools don't exist to do what we're talking about, making a CGI Spider-Man. But if we start now, we can develop the technologies so that they'll be ready for us when we need them in a year and a half. And I went, that's the coolest thing I ever heard in my life. Let's do that. And we did, and the technologies were there for us. So certainly that has become much easier now. There's whole companies that are set up to make CGI characters. They've got great new programs in place. The pipelines are laid. But the newest tools, I think, technologically that helped me were actually the telecommunication tools. Zoom, for instance, to be able to speak to 100 different crew members around the world at the same time, to share a storyboard. I could have my storyboard artist put up a storyboard to explain something to us, or I could have the art department bring up a design so that we could look at it with the director of photography and talk about how we'd light it. Or I could, on the same call, have my editor show a clip of a scene that was partially edited so we could really understand where this insert would go between which two shots. That tool is incredibly helpful and a great new advance in movie making.
I know this movie has cameos. We don't have to get into the specifics, but I am curious, was there any cameo or Easter egg that you put in specifically to amuse you?
No, not really. This was all done to titillate the fans and surprise them, to make them gasp, to give them not exactly what they expected, but something that they would love.
I'm obsessed with the editing process because it's ultimately where it all comes together. I know that Marvel has a very hands-on approach to the editing process. It's a different process than perhaps you've done in the past. And I'm just curious, what was that relationship like, and that back and forth working with them?
They were very supportive of myself and my editors, Bob Murawski and Tia Nolan, driving the train. They had their notes, they had their suggestions, and they were really good because they're a company that primarily just looks out for the integrity of their characters. So the notes really come from a great place. It's not about making more money for the studio. It's about, no, this is what Doctor Strange would say. No, this is what happened in the last Avengers movie, and this is contrary to that. We have to be on the same page. So their notes come from a really great fan place.
I know that this movie is definitely going to have deleted scenes. Can you tease for fans, even though we haven't seen the movie yet, like how many deleted scenes you might want to release down the road?
I'm trying to remember what Marvel is including in the deleted scenes. It's really going to be their decision, but I know that there are at least 2 or 3 deleted scenes that will be included. I don't know the full extent of them, though.
I know the movie's like 2 hours, 5 minutes, 2:10. I don't know the exact thing. Did you have a much longer cut that you brought to that? Like, I'm always curious about first cuts and, that kind of stuff.
Well, the first cut was, I actually don't remember the length of it. It was probably like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it slowly came down, even though we did the reshoots. We took out material, even though the reshoots went in. So it slowly got down to about 2 hours and 5 minutes is the total.
Totally. Listen, I wish I had more time. I'm already out. I'm just going to say I cannot wait to see the movie.